Present.
Councillor Humphreys,
Present.
Councillor Carew.
Present.
And I don't bring the planning ones in till it comes on the agenda, Hope?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm present. Any declaration of pecuniary interest? None being seen. Confirmation of council agenda. Nothing to add, Hope?
No, nothing to add.
Okay. Councillor Carew. Need a
In
mover.
favor?
No, yeah, need a mover.
Oh, sorry.
There we go. Councillor Humphreys. Oh, you're muted, Doug.
Hang on, there we are. I second the motion.
Councillor Webster,
In favor.
Councillor Humphreys,
In favor?
Councillor Carew,
In favor?
and I'm in favor. Delegations or public meetings, we don't have any. Minutes from the previous meeting. Everybody had a chance to look at them? I need a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Webster, Councillor Humphreys. Councillor Carew,
In favor?
Councillor Humphreys,
In favor?
Councillor Webster,
In favor.
and I'm in favor. Business arising from the minutes? None being seen nor heard. Committee reports. 7.1, Transportation and Environmental Service Committee, Chair Webster.
Thank you, Mayor Bennett. Page 7 of our package. I can quickly run through it. If everybody's had a chance to read it. First one, traffic calming on Thompson Road. So our Public Works Manager, Adam, set up the data recorder and speed tracker, and lots of great information came back from that, showing the speeding and all that. So that's good information we forward on to the OPP. Second thing is the fuel supply tender extension. We had a bit of a discussion on that, and at the end of the day, I believe we're going to go back out to tender. Last conversation I had with Public Works Manager Adam and Councillor Carew, I think the best is to go back out to tender on that. The gravel supply and haul tender. Committee members agreed that the middle section of Edie Road should be fixed in the 2021 construction season. The landfill expansion feasibility initial task. So this is just ongoing as we discussed in council to get this area, the landfill larger section done. So it's easier to do now. We've got years to do it. And so that's ongoing. Whitten Road Capital, the committee agreed to move forward with the option our Public Works Manager, Mr. Knapp, provided, which will be provided in the 2021 capital budget as per the committee recommendation. And then the last thing is new other business. Mayor Bennett requested to the committee that they consider moving forward with the rehabilitation and reconstruction of Thompson Hill by debenturing the project as interest rates are at the lowest. Committee was in agreement and to move forward with a financial plan with Thompson Hill. So obviously that's I think staff, maybe CAO Hope can help us. I think Adam was going to talk to about debenturing costs and all of that. Was he talking to yourself or Natalie and getting all that stuff just so we can move forward with it possibly?
Yes, he did talk to both Natalie and I, and Natalie went on to figure out some different kinds of debenturing plans that we can take a look at, and then staff will bring that back to the TES committee for review so that you guys can take a look at what you want before it comes back to council.
Great, thank you. The other thing I don't know, just to ensure that the rest of council knows, and that the other truck did come in. They really love it. The Dave driver of it is extremely happy with it. So the new truck is in and out on the streets. And that's my report, Mayor Bennett.
Thank you. Any questions of Chair Webster? Okay, the only thing that I would like to mention, Chair Webster, is maybe we should send something back to county, thanking them for the use of their vehicle, because we did have it for an extended period of time, and it certainly relieved any hardships we might have went through.
No, that's a great idea. Thank you. I will pass that on to Public Works Manager Adam Knapp.
Okay. Any other questions of Chair Webster? None? Protective Services Committee, Chair Carew.
Thank you. Yes, we met on February 11th. It was we'd have one for it was first one in 12 months. And the items we talked about, the first one was the Chiefs update for the year. There was over 42 to 45 calls, which is average for the year. And also talked about the equipment that was purchased through the Jenny's Heroes Canada's Fire Services grant, which was highly spoke of from Chief, from the Fire Chief. Another discussion was the Ontario Fire College. What was discussed in the closing. With the Chief did mention that it was a great resource for the municipalities, and a lot cheaper than using the regional fire training centers. And the last item was to go ahead and go out with the deputy fire chief position. It has been left empty since the new chief has been appointed. And that's it. Back to you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilors, we have questions of Councillor Carew, or Chair Carew, right?
Oh, sorry, if I could add one thing. Sorry, I missed. If I can add just the with the MTO calls, there was 4 to 5 MTO calls were billed, and then 2 outstanding for insurance companies. So I think with the previous we had issues with it, but I think it seems like staff and have it under control was the billing.
Okay. Any questions at all? None? Thank you, Elaine, for having that meeting and getting everything back in gear again. It certainly helps to understand what's happening with the fire department when we're meeting on a regular basis. So thank you for that. I'd still much prefer to meet in person, but can't get there yet. Planning Committee. First of all, Elaine, I'll just welcome Mr. Cassidy and Mr. Johnson to the Planning Committee, so they're marked in as attendance. And would you take it away, Chair, please?
Sorry for that. Sorry. Yeah. So staff report 7.3.1 official plan amendment number 31. And I'll pass it to the officer, Hope Dillabo.
So last week, at the Development and Property Committee meeting. Actually, it was February 9th. Yes, last week. My apologies. The County of Renfrew planning staff had compiled their planning responses that were received by the various municipalities that were providing comments, and they presented these answers to Development and Property Committee. I attached the document I'm referring to as Appendix 1 for Council to have reviewed. The Development and Property Committee did not approve the changes recommended by staff. They only received them as information, so I just wanted to highlight that item. And they will be brought forward to the next County Council meeting to review and potentially accept on February 24th, 2021. This doesn't mean that the OPA 31 will be necessarily adopted and come into full force and effect. There are still some required steps to be undertaken, such as notification to public agencies, a public consultation piece, as per the Planning Act, and of course, final approval by County Council. So upon reviewing the committee meeting and looking at the responses provided by county staff, Horton staff is extremely concerned with the county's planning recommendations to maintain all of the agriculture designation within Horton Township, as well as the section 3.37, which discourages development in settlement areas within 500 meters. They did change it from 1 kilometer to 500 meters from those responses received by municipalities. They summarized their responses and recommendations with the attached appendix referring to the provincial policy statement, as well as the Ontario Federation of Agriculture. However, nowhere in their summary does it provide any professional review, research, and study undertaken by the County of Renfrew to support not only the Township of Horton, but other municipalities also. A provincial review occurred regarding agricultural lands. However, it's staff's opinion that the county should have provided a local review in accordance with these provincial policies and not treat them as a blanket policy. So staff is recommending to council to engage the professional firm of Colville Consulting Inc. to conduct a land evaluation review of Horton Township to aid in building a stronger case that no prime ag land that exists in Horton as defined by provincial and county agencies. Part of this evaluation would occur a review of the proposal, which discourages development. And in my report, I did write this prior to speaking with Mr. Colville. His review that he's interested in undertaking will not include that buffer area that of the 1 kilometer or the 500 meters. That's a completely different planning issue. So his review of what he's proposing to provide to us is strictly just a desktop review of the ag lands composition. And if successful in building that strong case with the evidence required, Horton has a better chance of moving forward in terms of development instead of being blocked by this blanket policy, provincial policy. And obviously with the inevitable twinning of Highway 17 coming through Horton Township, I think it's really imperative to work through this now so we can see future growth. The majority of lands that currently border along Highway 17 right now are subject to the agriculture designation. So I do have, I know I wasn't able to give an estimation for the work that I'm recommending to be undertaken. However, I did receive it today at 3 o'clock. And that estimate is approximately $8,000 to do this full background review, which would provide us a stronger case to build against the county's recommendations. So with that, I know that's a lot to retain and discuss, but I probably didn't capture everything. So if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. We can go through some of the changes. I can pull it up and share my screen if you wish. Just let me know what any of you would like to see.
Got a question.
Oh, sorry. And thank you very much for putting the work into this so quickly, because our timelines are so tight, and it's just as if everything needs to be done before spring gets here, and I don't know whether that's necessary or not, but thank you very much. Mr. Johnson.
Okay, my concern is that I'd like an answer from the government, from the federal government and the county. How did we have no agricultural land from the time Milt Stevenson was read back in the 1980s until now? We certainly have far less farmers now than we had back in 1980. And to me, this is a ridiculous thing what they're doing. I went through this, as you know, and reduced it down to what I felt as a member of this community for many years, that the agricultural land took about 5,000 or 6,000 acres of land out of there, which is very marginal. And when they were up here again, as you recall, they come up and said we had #1 land up in Jim McMatten's old farm, which is pure rocks. And they had 2 places we had #1 land, and they were right off the board. Like, they don't even know what's going on, as far as I'm concerned, as far as the provincial government, about agricultural land here. We know because we live here. And I think we should strongly tell them that, hey, butt out, we will look after our community. You don't need to come and start telling us what to do. Thank you.
That's good points.
Any, does somebody else have a question? Comment? Okay, so basically where we're at with this is it's up to us to put the case together. They have that Horton is not what they think it is, and Horton will grow and prosper over the next 100 years if we follow a plan that's put together. That is not in the official documents and the official plan of Renfrew County right at the moment. So moving along with an expert to back up our cases is a must, because it's actually the history of Horton. We need to protect what we got, and we're going to have to fight for it. There is no doubt about it, because we have went the other way. Mr. Johnson had asked county to reconsider. Mr. Kingsbury, as mayor, asked county to reconsider. And they have 18 months later, we haven't moved ahead one iota. As a matter of fact, there's more restrictions in the official plan because we're back to the original document. They're not even considering what we has the Council of Horton has put together. So we need to move forward in a different direction. So it's the only way we can move forward with agricultural land is have somebody come in. That we have it on paper. This is really what it is. It's not a flyover. It's being looked after, and they need to reconsider.
One other comment, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I think I agree with 100%. We bring in these people. It's money well spent. I think also we should make it clear to them the history of the land going back into the 1980s, when we convinced the provincial government at that time we didn't have any agricultural land. How come they're turning around to saying all of a sudden this just pops up out of nowhere, and we've got 3 farmers or 4 farmers, maybe half a dozen in the whole township? Why should all the rest of us suffer in the development and so on because of 4 or 5 farmers? And I'm a member of the OFA and have been for 25 years. And I agree they like to save land, but maybe they better speak to some of the things around Toronto and London and Mississauga and so on, where they've let it slip through with no problem whatsoever, just because of the big pressure. Whereas little old Horton, you're just going to jam it down our throat. Well, I'm not taking it. Thank you.
Thanks. Hope?
So if I may, Chair Cleroux, so I'll just give you a little bit of a background of what I'll be providing Colville Consulting with to do their review. I actually did provide them with the majority of information that Horton Township Council past and present have been working on, including all the minutes and agendas, the 1989 background study, all of that pertinent information so that they can review. From that, he's going to include a comparison of the area identified by the county and the township, who's saying what, compilation of the soil and CLI information, He's doing a desktop review of aerial photographic imagery, present and historical, to identify farm operations and mix of land uses, a review of agricultural investments in tile drainage, a review of the level of fragmentation of the agricultural land base, and as well as a desktop evaluation of potential minimum distance separation constraints. And when I spoke to Sean on Friday afternoon, just with the quick review that he did within the hour or two that I had sent him the initial email, he could tell right away how rocky and how the soil wasn't, without actually testing it. He did notice that it was quite rocky and items that didn't necessarily pertain to provincial policy. So I'm very, I think this would benefit Horton Township greatly. And I think whatever information that I can provide him, I will. And Bob, if I may need to tap into your historical background as well to give him that information also.
Yes, I'd like to talk to these people somehow, whether we can do it in person or not, but I'd like to certainly give them my view. And I don't know how Mr. Stevenson is feeling health-wise, but I would like to talk to him how that happened back in the 80s, but I don't know whether that's possible or not. Okay.
Thank you. Any questions from anybody else? None? Oh, Councillor Carew.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that I totally support this. With all what we've seen in the last 6 months or a year with sales and the amount of, and with the highway coming through, if we're not on top of this, we're going to be bypassed, and we want growth in Horton. So you going back to the development charges, I think we want to be open for business and attract developers in our area so we can grow.
Right. Very good.
Councillor Webster.
I believe it's Chair Clarou's meeting. Am I right or wrong here?
Sorry. I was just, I'd asked if there's any questions, so.
No, that's fine. I just, that's fine. So Mike, I'm in total support of it also, but for direction for CAO Hope Dillabo, do you need a motion, Hope, for this to move forward?
Yeah, that'll come later in the resolution. I do have a motion prepared to retain the services of this Global Consulting.
Great, thank you.
Take it back. I already slapped my hands.
You were doing a great job, so I didn't want to take it from you. Councillor Humphreys.
Thank you, Chair. My thoughts are, as a council and committees, meet with Colville to have a chat face on face. Everybody brings a different thing to the table, like Mr. Johnson, who's been in Horton a long time. I've been in Horton a long time. I am a farmer. I know the land. Why can't we sit down and discuss things that are brought up before Hope sends anything into him? We all know the land. We know every road. We know every farmer. The farmers are a dying breed. You can count the farmers on one set of persons up and down the roads, and with less and less livestock except for horses, we don't need any minimum distance. Like nobody's, like after Peter Tippins, he's retirement age now. There's Dreamwall. There's no other cattle in this lower end of Horton. Like Robert Winters has some cattle. There's hardly any livestock except for some horses around. So even people like some of our big buyers over in the old Nesbitt property, we're going to put it all into solar panels. That's how they valued their farmland, because they're going to make more money out of solar panels on the old Jemison farm and the old Nesbitt farm. And you know yourself, when you look at stuff, look at the gravel pits. The aggregates are huge in Horton, and that's what we got. That's a resource, more so than farming. And there's a story, like when I lived in London, talked to all these old farmers north of London, trying to farm around rocks and stones, and the next generation came in and sold all these farms for gravel pits, and we're all millionaires within 10 years. So I think we have to sit down and explain to our new counselor, Mr. Coville, that we can help him analyze things quicker and give him a better background on everything we have. And I know Bob Johnson will agree with that.
I agree with you 100%, Doug. Very well put.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll turn it back to yourself, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you, Chair Crew. So I'm on board with whatever we need to do to get this forward. I like I did say, we're under a tighter timeline. I'd like something concrete to take to county council next week to say we are moving forward. How we're doing it is not going to be important for next week, as long as we do have a consultant, and I do have a 2-minute verbal discussion with Hope of what exactly we're going to do to prove our case, and that should be adequate. I did. There is a push to get part of the official plan move forward ASAP. I'm not sure whether it's a legit push or not, but I'm good with whatever we need to do to move forward and make sure that we're looking after, to the best of our ability, of why we should retain the farmland out of agriculture zoning. Because we're not taking anything away from the agricultural community. We're actually trying to support them, because we are going to have development to move along with them. So, and that's the way I see it.
Right.
Any other questions? Okay, you want to vote now, Hope, or no? Okay. Okay, that's it then, Chair Crew.
Yes.
Okay. County Council, you have the approved budget in front of you, and the information going forward. There is a 2.5% increase to the levy, but I think the county did quite well to maintain it to that, because it is a struggle, as we all know, with COVID going on. We do get reimbursed for a lot, but it's a hidden costs that aren't covered. So is there, I can go ahead and talk here, yeah. Is there any questions on that? None? And on the next thing, you can see the county council videos. We do not have them. I didn't get my hand slapped yet. I'll get them slapped next week, but I didn't realize that we couldn't actually show them until after the Olive County Council sees them, because I thought, because they're on YouTube live at committee, that they're public information, but it doesn't appear to be that way right now. Correspondence summary, information correspondence. Who would like to take the lead on that? Councillor Humphreys?
Yeah, good to get a first kick of the cat.
Yeah.
There's a few things from the info package. Was on page 8, the U.S. Canadian trade facts and figures, very interesting. Millions or billions of dollars there, and go through all the exports and imports. And we're, for a small population, we spend, and they spend a lot of money on us for a small population country. So it works both ways. And the second thing was very important, like with the expanding of the meat processing application for like Reiki Meats, and with COVID, he could not keep up to the demands of the local producers selling and butchering livestock for sales, because people weren't getting their food source from Cargill and stuff because they were shut down with COVID. And it was very important to back our local abattoirs and stuff. And I think it's going to come that you're going to see maybe a newer state-of-the-art ones in Renfrew County. We still have lots of beef producers in Renfrew County, but not right in Horton at this time, but we have some good cattlemen too. The third thing was the Winter Games, and it could bring in millions of dollars in spin-off industries to the county, and I don't know how Horton's going to help, except for maybe some volunteers and stuff, but as times roll out, we'll see more and more of that too. So, and that's all I have from here, but thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Humphreys, and I know we can count on you as Economic Development Officer to make sure that meat plant gets put in the Renfrew area.
When we get back meeting like Councillor Carew did with the fire department, we will be going again. Don't worry.
Okay. Councillor Webster?
Thank you, Mayor. Couple things. If maybe Nikki, your assistant, sign me up for the AMO conference. I think I really enjoyed the first one I went to there, so I'd like to do that one again. And the other thing, the Ontario Winter Games. So it's just a thought out there. Maybe a discussion with Chair Yvonne for the committee, the Olympic game, or the Ontario Winter Games, sorry, committee chair is as a township, is there any way we can help out in the township, offering our rec center or anything like that? If Mayor Ben, I was just your thoughts on that as a township, can we help out in any way? And like this, as a group, I was thinking more so because instead of looking for individuals as a township, we have a lot to offer, and maybe discussion with him that way. Is there any way we can help out with that? I just throwing that out there for the other councillors to consider also, but I thought that as the name Horton would be really nice, rather than Councillor Webster being out there. I'd rather not that. I'd rather see Horton's name out there supporting the event. And that's all I had.
Okay, thank you. Just a comment. I'd be more than willing to talk to Chair Emo about what's needed to help out with the Winter Games, and I certainly do it in a collective manner where it's a township incentives that we could move forward with, and that if it's individual help he needs for that we're available for that also through the township.
Great, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Carew.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to see that the expansion of Highway 17 is going forward. It does feel like forever, but seeing that they're actually moving forward and with the next step of it, and also and also nice to see it. There's just the overall business. Just put the background they put in to the document. It's just good to see what showing all the OCIF money that's going around to the municipalities. And there's just the last thing was the conference. I was thinking going with the same as Councillor Webster, the AMO. And that's it for myself.
Okay, thank you. I've got a couple of comments in the Ottawa Valley Business News. It's very interesting to see the tender for 3 pickup trucks for Amprior that nobody bid on. There was no bid put in whatsoever. It tells you where the automotive market is right now. That our local dealers obviously can't get any stock in order to move forward, and that's unfortunate, because next time they go out for tender, the other dealers are going to see that, and there's no savings and that's going to be the next 24 to 36 months. And the whole automotive market is going to be like that till they get inventory built up again. So we need one truck, and thank goodness it's only one truck, because it's going to be a hard sell for the next few years, I guess. Other than that, the only other thing was the Winter Games. I certainly want to make sure we're doing our part and helping out where we can be. And it's, we know we can do it, and we'll offer our services to the committee as soon as they actually put down a list. Renfrew is on the list of places for events. Horton is not right at the moment, but that's may be something that Peter can help us out with. Other than that, that's about all I got for right now on information. Anything else from anybody? No? Okay, thank you. And we don't have any action correspondence. We got bylaws, 2021, Hope.
So this
You want to do-
bylaw, oh, mhm.
You want to do that now?
Yep.
Yep.
That council enact the following bylaw 2021-14 Integrity Commissioner and Closed Meeting Investigator Agreement Amendment.
I need a mover and seconder. Moved by Councillor Webster. Second by Councillor Humphries. Any discussion? Councillor Carew,
In favor.
Councillor Humphries,
In favor?
Councillor Webster,
In favor.
and I'm in favor. Notice a motion, notice to file motion for the next council meeting? No. Another 18 meetings and I can say, hey, we got through the whole thing without having to file a motion. Council staff and members' concerns. Councillor Humphries.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Bennett. Yes, I did receive a call about the roads department. And it was sort of a one-sided conversation. He was wondering why the plow was out and there was no snow. And it all went on that he said, and I said, does there a school bus go by? And he says, yes, there is. I said, well, that may be one reason they might have been out. And he said, they knocked over my recycle, but when they came back, they picked it all up. So he was happy about that. And then he said he opened his tax bill and he said he was really happy with that. So when he hung up the phone, he was a very happy camper. So I felt we did something right with our roads department and their taxes. So thanks. That's just a little chuckle. Thank you.
Thanks for looking after that. I can give you the name if you want. Any other council members' concerns? None being heard? Motion for reconsideration. Debate on motion to reconsider only. None being heard? Resolutions. Hope.
That council accept the test committee chair's report as information.
Mover. Councillor Carew, second Councillor Humphries. Councillor Webster,
In favor.
Councillor Humphries,
In favor?
Councillor Carew,
In favor.
and I'm in favor.
That upon recommendation from the test committee, council agreed to rehabilitate the middle section of Edie Road in the 2021 construction season, and that the test committee recommend to council that the granular haul and supply tender amount be increased to $65,000 for this project, and further that this be reflected in the 2021 budget.
Mover. Councillor Webster, second Councillor Humphries. Councillor Carew,
In favor.
Councillor Humphries,
In favor?
Councillor Webster,
In favor.
and I'm in favor.
That upon recommendation from the test committee, council agreed to move forward with the initial tasks for the landfill expansion feasibility study provided by JP2G, and that this be taken from the environmental reserves.
Mover. Councillor Carew, second by Councillor Humphries. I do want to say that this has growth expands is very important that we have the tools in front of us to look after residential growth and what industrial growth may come along with 17, but the residential growth is going to come along, and we can say we're right on top of it. So the life of the landfill is certainly 25 to 30 years versus 10 years. So, Councillor Carew,
In favor.
Councillor Humphries,
In favor?
Councillor Webster,
In favor?
and I'm in favor.
That upon recommendation from the test committee, council agree to move forward with Whitten Road rehabilitation and reconstruction, and that the south end, and that this will be presented in the 2021 capital budget along with funding allocations.
Mover, Councillor Webster. Seconder, Councillor Carew. Any comments? None being heard. Move, sorry, got a mover and seconder. Councillor Humphries.
In favor?
Councillor Carew.
In favor.
Councillor Webster.
In favor?
And I'm in favor.
That council accept the Protective Services Committee Chair's report as information.
Mover. Councillor Humphries. Seconder. Councillor Webster. Councillor Carew.
In favor.
Councillor Humphries.
In favor?
Councillor Webster.
Favor?
And I'm in favor.
And that council agree to move forward with the internal posting of the deputy fire chief position.
Need a mover? Councillor Carew. Seconder, Councillor Humphries. Councillor Webster.
In favor?
Councillor Humphries.
In favor?
Councillor Carew.
In favor.
And I'm in favor.
That council directs staff to retain the professional services of Colville Consulting, Inc. to conduct a desktop review on Horton Township as it pertains to the proposed designation of prime agricultural lands in the draft OPA 31 by the County of Renfrew, and that this be funded from the modernization reserves.
Need a mover? Councillor Carew. Second, Councillor Webster. Any questions or comments? Councillor Humphries.
In favor?
Councillor Carew.
In favor.
Councillor Webster.
In favor?
And I'm in favor.
That council accepted CAO clerk's information memo for February 16th, 2021.
Mover. Councillor Humphries, second by Councillor Carew. Councillor Webster.
In favor?
Councillor Humphries.
In favor?
Councillor Carew.
In favor.
And I'm in favor.
That council went into a closed meeting session at 4:44 p.m. to discuss the following items pursuant to section 239(2)(b) and (e) of the Municipal Act. Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, health village, and litigation or potential litigation, Farrell's Landing.
Okay, I need a mover to go into closed. Councillor Carew, second by Councillor Humphries. Do I have to call everybody to leave it like that or call everybody in? Okay, Councillor Carew,
In favor.
Councillor Humphries,
In favor?
Councillor Webster,
In favor?